Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. So I just watched episodes 7 and 8 of Marvel's What If, and I gotta say, I am impressed by episode 8. Episode 7 was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But for me, it was definitely the weakest episode. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because for me, like, the worst MCU movies are the first two Thor movies, and the weakest of What If is the Thor What If, which is quite interesting. But yeah, this episode 7 was What If Thor was an only child, and episode 8 was What If Ultron won in Age of Ultron. So the second one, a lot more interesting. Episode 8, a lot more interesting. Episode 7, they could have taken many directions with it, but instead the direction they took was Odin going to Odin's sleep. Frigga was going out with her friends to, I don't know where she went, but she went somewhere through the Bifrost. And she wanted Thor to study, because she wanted him to become king and rule the 9 realms. So she was like, you gotta study, I'll be watching you. So Thor decides to take his friends, the Warriors 3, Lady Sif, etc., take his friends to Earth to have a massive party. And this party, they destroy a lot of things, but they're having a party, they have a good time with humans, and they invite a lot of friends. They invite Loki. Loki is a frost giant in this. He was never adopted by Odin in this timeline. He remained as a frost giant. Odin returned him back to them as a baby instead of adopting him. So Loki becomes a frost giant, but also he's Thor's friend at this point. So he's a giant and he's Thor's friend. For some reason, Thor's friends with the Grandmaster. The Grandmaster's on Earth partying with Thor. The Guardians, I don't remember if all the Guardians are there, but Drax is there, Nebula is there, Yondu was definitely there as well. Who else was there? Surtur was chatting up the Statue of Liberty. He was taking a night. He fancied. He wanted the Statue of Liberty. He liked her, even though she's not real. But for some reason, Surtur was into her. But Surtur is Thor's friend as well. I'm just like, what's going on here? Isn't this the guy that if you revive him, he'll destroy Asgard? How did he become Thor's friend? I thought that was a bit random. Nick Fury's there for a bit. Maria Hill was there. S.H.I.E.L.D. were involved. Who else is there? Captain Marvel's there, but I was going to get to her. Rocket's there. So I think it's Gamora and Star-Lord that are not there. So most of the Guardians are there, just not the main two. I mean, they're all main characters, but, you know, Star-Lord and Gamora are who it centers around the most, I feel. But still, a lot of MCU characters were there having a party on Earth. And S.H.I.E.L.D. sees it as a threat. And Natalie Portman's, I call her Natalie Portman. That is her name, but I mean like Jane. Her name in the MCU is Jane. Jane warned S.H.I.E.L.D. about an alien invasion. And, well, S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't believe her at first, but eventually they did. All Thor was doing is partying, by the way, but he was destroying monuments and he could have destroyed the planet. Apparently he had another party previously which ended up destroying a planet, whether they meant it or not. S.H.I.E.L.D. saw them as a threat. Jane still falls in love with Thor. She still falls in love with him. She still likes him, even though he's a bit of a maniac. But ultimately he's having a party and S.H.I.E.L.D. are like, this is a threat to the world. And yes, they are destroying a lot of things, in fairness. Like, you do destroy things at parties, but when Asgardians party and when powerful people party, obviously, you know, it's going to be a bit more of a mess, shall we say. And the party spread all around the world. So, through Nick Fury's pager, they call in Captain Marvel, yes. Captain Marvel, emergencies only. They call her to fight Thor. And she fights Thor. And for a lot of the fight, she seems stronger, which is quite interesting. Obviously, this is Thor before he got the Odin Force in Ragnarok. I'm pretty sure anyway. So he wouldn't be as powerful. Like, he wasn't as powerful as he was in Ragnarok Infinity War back in the first 2 phases. But still, like, Captain Marvel seems to be a lot more powerful until Thor uses hammer. So that was quite interesting. But eventually, Jane called Heimdall. Heimdall sent Jane to Frigga, who was on holiday with her mates. And, well, Frigga expected Thor to study, but Thor's on Earth partying, so Frigga interrupted Thor while he was fighting Captain Marvel. And it was quite a funny conversation because he was talking to his mum, and Captain Marvel was back there laughing. it was quite a funny scene, to be fair, but a little bit silly at the same time. And basically Frigga's like, I'm coming to Earth to see what you're doing, you better be studying. And Thor spends a lot of time, well, not a lot of time, but there's like a minute montage of him cleaning up the Earth before Frigga gets back to try and hide from the fact that he was destroying the planet. But yeah, a very weird episode. I don't know what else to say. If I was to rate this episode, probably a 6.5. I'm not sure what to think of it. But they did tease episode 8 in this, because episode 8 breaks the barriers of the previous 7 episodes. So in episode 7, at the end, Ultron turns up, and he's got all the Infinity Stones. And he turns up to attack Thor, and it ends there, and you're thinking, okay, they're connecting it to the next episode. And they haven't done that before, so that's a big thing. Like, every episode has been different. What if this happened in this movie, and then the next episode is a different movie? It's all been disconnected, all different universes, but episode 7 at the end clearly shows Ultron walking in through a portal, I guess, from a different universe with Infinity Stones to attack Thor. So, I mean, I did see some previews, but I heard it's going to be a big crossover, but that was the first time anything crossed over between the What If episodes, so that was pretty big. And the following episode obviously was What If Ultron won? So this happens right at the start. Ultron wins, he fires all the nukes, he gets Vision's body, he fires all the nukes, and everyone dies, apart from Hawkeye and Black Widow. Yes, the two most useless heroes in the MCU are the two that survived the entire world getting nuked. Yeah. There's 2 people left on Earth, and it's Hawkeye and Black Widow, and an Ultron in Vision's body. That's it. That's the Earth. Post-apocalyptic world, and 2 regular humans are what's left. I get it. One's an assassin, one's a master archer, but come on. What's going on here? But it's not like that was bad. Like, I still enjoyed the episode, but what was crazy to me was that Ultron killed Thanos. Like, Thanos came for the stone, because Thanos had the 5 stones. He came to get the last one, the Mind Stone from Ultron. Thanos walked through the portal, like in Infinity War. Ultron looks at him like, interesting, and then zaps him, Mind Stone. He zaps him, he zaps a line straight through Thanos' body, symmetrical. Right? And you see a yellow line just like this, and then Thanos' body splits apart. Thanos is dead. He didn't even say anything. He just turned up, got murdered. Ultron took the stone. I was like, what? What? To be fair, Ultron is extremely powerful. The one we saw in Age of Ultron was nerfed. Like, he wasn't like Ultron. He was still Ultron, but you know, he should have been a lot more powerful. But the What If episode showed a bit more of what Ultron could be power-wise, and with Vision's body, he seemed unstoppable. He got all the Infinity Stones, and this was just like the first 5 minutes. He won Age of Ultron, he murdered Thanos within seconds, he fires all the nukes to kill everyone apart from Hawkeye and Black Widow. If you're wondering how they survived in the air, they're in a jet, they're in a Quinjet. But still, that is pretty crazy, right? And the way he kills Thanos as well. Oh my words. And then he goes after the rest of the universe. He destroys Asgard. He destroys the Sovereign's planet. You know, those gold people in Guardians 2? He destroys them. So you know that scene in Guardians 2 where they're defending the batteries? That's when Ultron turns up. So I'm assuming the Guardians died too. Everyone on that planet died. Then they went to Sakaar, the Grand Master's place. They destroyed that planet. They destroyed Ego. Ultron destroyed Ego. Ego just got destroyed completely. Ego, when you think about how powerful Ego is as well, that's pretty crazy in itself. Then he went to Xandar, and Captain Marvel was there to defend Xandar, but Ultron eventually destroyed Xandar as well, along with many other planets, so even Captain Marvel couldn't stop him. And I'm pretty sure she died as well. Like, I'm pretty sure she was murdered by Ultron, so that's another thing. Ultron hears also, sorry, I wrote my notes down just in case I forget anything. I was just reading the next line. So the Watcher's been telling stories, right? He's been telling us things like, this guy couldn't do this, no matter what, this can't be changed, etc. You know, like narration. He comes up with narration. So he's narrating Ultron. Ultron conquered the entire universe. There was no one left. No one left to conquer. And the Watcher was talking about how he was going to be alone. And Ultron hears him. Ultron hears him. Ultron turns around, hears and sees the Watcher through this dimension into another universe. Or like in the middle of all these universes. Ultron hears and sees him. I'm just like, whoa. He's breaking, I guess, I'm not going to say the fourth wall because that would mean talking to us. He wasn't talking to us. He was talking to the Watcher. But in a way, it felt like he was breaking the fourth wall within the What If episode. Like he was breaking the wall in between him and the guy telling his story. That's insane. That whole concept is bloody insane. So the fact they did that was pretty damn crazy. So Natasha's plan, Black Widow and Clint Barton's plan, they went to the Kremlin and yeah, the way they took out a lot of Ultron's army was pretty cool as well. But they went to the Kremlin to find KGB's secrets, and in there was the code to Zola. You remember the guy, the Hydra guy, the computer from Winter Soldier, also the guy from the first Captain America movie, you know, the short guy, you know, right-hand man to Red Skull, Zola. Yeah, Zola, high-pitched voice. It wasn't high-pitched, but you get the point. Zola, the living computer of Hydra, who infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. They had to go and find Zola to make a deal with him, because obviously they couldn't find him, but they could find a computer program of him. And he was uploaded onto a few computers around the world. They found one in Siberia, and they spoke to Zola. They were like, Hydra's dead, S.H.I.E.L.D's dead, everyone is dead, we need your help. They made some conditions, etc. The point is, they made the deal. They made the deal to stop Ultron. He could break into Ultron's code and combat him. But when they had the chance to do it, he couldn't get to Ultron. Why? Because Ultron broke into the dimension where the Watcher was and started fighting the Watcher. So Zola couldn't hack into Ultron because Ultron was not in that universe anymore. So mind blown at that point. I mean, maybe not for me, but for Black Widow and Hawkeye, probably mind blown, because at this point I don't think they were introduced in the multiverse. I mean, even in Endgame, no one is introduced to that yet. But that is pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy when you think about it. Like, they finally found a way to stop Ultron. And when they could, Ultron had left the universe. He'd gone to a different dimension. Ultron versus the Watcher was a crazy fight. It was a crazy fight that I wish I could see more of. But they basically punched each other into multiple universes, and it was pretty crazy. He almost killed the Watcher as well, but the Watcher managed to escape. And the Watcher asked evil Doctor Strange for help. So, you know, in the previous episode, the Doctor Strange that couldn't save his wife, that Doctor Strange is in a prison with the Watcher. And the Watcher asked for his help. So, like in the previous episode, we finally saw Ultron break into Thor's universe when they finally connected something. So, because Ultron found the Watcher, he found all these other universes. So, I'm assuming him going to Thor was basically like him finding one of these universes and breaking into it. So, possibly, all the universes that we've seen so far, Ultron could go to. So, that's pretty crazy. And also, the Watcher asking Doctor Strange for help, that also connects to another episode already. So, that's 2 episodes connected up. That's pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do the next episode, because so far they've set up a connection between all the episodes we've seen. I wonder what will happen next. And also, when you got to think about the fact that there are zombies in one of the universes, I wonder what Ultron taking on zombies would look like. I do wonder. Imagine Ultron versus zombie Thanos. I don't think they actually do that, but considering they're connecting the different episodes, I'm holding out hope that the zombies will return somehow, some way. But yeah, overall, a very good episode, 9 out of 10. Also, I feel like they referenced Galactus at one point. There was one point where, was it Ultron or was it the Watcher? No, I think it was Ultron. Yeah, I think it was Ultron. So there was one point where the Watcher was down on the floor, and then you see Ultron has a massive head, on top of the planet, and he's about to eat the planet. I'm just because of the way Ultron's helmet was, I was just that looks a bit like Galactus hitting a world. I don't know if it was just me. If you've seen the episode, you probably know what I'm talking about. There's one point where the guy's head is so big above this planet that you're thinking, is he consuming this planet? This looks like Galactus. It's not Galactus, but I feel like they did a subtle reference to him. Anyway, I've been very muddled up with how I've explained things, but I really enjoyed the episode, episode 8. Episode 7 was okay, but episode 8 was what really got me hooked. But I mean, I've been hooked already, to be fair. I want to see more of what we've seen already. I want to see more Marvel Zombies, and there's some other episodes where they end on cliffhangers that I want to see more. I want to see what happens next, like the Killmonger one, for example. I hope they continue in season 2 with a lot of these cliffhangers, because I feel like a lot of these episodes, they always end at a weird time. They always seem to cut it too short. But the last 2, it seems like they've cut it at a good time. So I look forward to seeing the next one. I think it might be the finale, actually. I thought it was, like, originally they said 23 episodes, 1 for each movie. Then they changed it up to 10 episodes. But now I think it's 9. I can't remember, but I'll be sure to tell you my thoughts in the next episode, whether it's the finale or not. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and see ya.